بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. In this video, we will be talking about the meaning of the Kalimah of Tawheed linguistically. So the indication of the Kalimah in the Arabic language. And the implication of the missing syntactical part. So I'm clarifying the meaning as understood by Ahl Sunnah, as opposed to the estimations made by the people of innovation and misguidance. So pay attention, may Allah have mercy on you, because this matter is extremely dangerous due to its connection to the unification Tawheed of the Lord of the worlds, and it being this, i.e. Tawheed, that is needed in order to attain ultimate success by the permission of the Lord of the worlds. Firstly, a lesson in Arabic sentences, so that you can understand what's happening here. So there's a brief introduction to Arabic sentences as a basis, and then we will go into the Kalimah to understand what is happening there. So there are two types of sentences in Arabic. We have nominal sentences and verbal sentences. Nominal sentences are basically sentences that start with a noun part, nominal noun. And verbal sentences start with a verb part. So this is the easiest way you can just differentiate or check whether a sentence is nominal noun or verbal. So now each sentence has two pillars. Now remember, a pillar is what holds up the building. And so if any of the pillars are missing, the building can't stand. So meaning that pillars, these two pillars, both of them are not there together, then the sentence will not be considered a nominal sentence. And the same thing goes for verbal sentences. They both have two pillars each. So what are the pillars of the nominal sentence? So the first pillar is the subject, and the second pillar is the predicate. So the subject is what we start with, the noun that we start with, what we are going to be talking about. And the predicate is the information that we are going to be giving about the subject. So an example, Zaid is generous. In Arabic, this would be Zaidun Kareemun. So Zaid is the subject who we're talking about, what we start with, and Kareem is the predicate or the information about Zaid, that he is generous. And notice that they are both nouns, and we're starting obviously with a noun. Now, when it comes to verbal sentences, they have two pillars as well. So firstly, we have the verb. And secondly, the second pillar is the subject of the verb. So these are the two pillars of a verbal sentence. An example of that would be Zaid ate. Akala Zaidun in Arabic. So here, akala would be the verb ate, and Zaid the subject of the verb. So in Arabic, the verb comes first and the subject comes afterwards. So nominal sentences, we have the two pillars. Again, remember it starts with a noun. Now another example of this is the sentence Zaidun fil bayt. So Zaid is in the house. This is what it means in English. Zaid is in the house. So here Zaid is the subject of the sentence. Okay, and so notice it's a noun we're starting with, so it's a nominal sentence. So we have the first pillar, the subject. Now, where is the predicate or the information about Zaid? In the house is not a noun. So in should be the next word, should be the noun. Is not counted in Arabic. So in is not a noun. In is a preposition. So it does not count as the pillar. The pillars have to be nouns. So where is the predicate? So the predicate is actually present, that Zaid is present in the house. Okay, this is the real predicate, the information about Zaid, that he is present, and then after that, where in the house. You can have extra information after the original predicate, but you can't do without the predicate. Okay, so the predicate here is that he is present in the house. Okay, So what's happening here? So it is implied, this is an implied predicate. Okay, so you might think on the first time, would you just looking at the sentence first, that the predicate is missing, therefore it's not a proper sentence. But no, the predicate is implied. And the reason why it's implied is because it's understood. So that's why it's missing. We don't need to say it because it's understood. Just like in English, when you say David is in the house, it's understood that he's present in the house. So going back to the Kalimah linguistically now. So we'll now be looking in the second part of this video, the Kalimah linguistically, the word by word. So La ilaha illallah. So the first word here is a la of negation. So this la is basically a la which negates something by genus or class. La nafia lil jins in Arabic. And what does that mean? It is a universal negation of all members of the genus of the noun that comes after it. So as an example, if we go back to the example that we're using about Zayd in the house, and we say that there is no man in the house, or here you say La rajula. No, you want to negate that there's any man in the house. La rajula fil bayt. So this basically means that there is no man. So anyone that classifies as a man is not in the house. It's what I mean by la, which negates something by genus or class. Anyone that classifies as a man is not in the house. So there could be, for example, women, boys, animals, etc., but no one that classifies as a man, whether he's Arab, white, black, whoever, tall, short, disabled, old, young, as long as he classifies as a man, he is not included. So a little bit more detail, the la which negates something by genus or class, la nafia lil jins. So it works like inna, for those who are familiar with Arabic grammar, meaning it enters a nominal sentence. It makes the subject, remember the first word in Zaydun Kareem, the first word what we're talking about, makes the subject mansoob, and it makes the information a predicate marfu'. If you don't know what these terms are, don't worry about them. These are for those who are familiar with a bit of Arabic. Okay, so the conditions, the important conditions related to the kalimah we mentioned here is that both the noun and the predicate must be indefinite for la to work like this. Okay, so meaning that what we're talking about, the subject, which will be known as the noun of la, and the predicate, the information, the other pillar of the nominal sentence, that will be both of them will be indefinite. Okay, so this is very important when we come afterwards to the meaning of the kalimah and why it can't mean certain things that the wrong people thought. Because in Arabic grammar, the rule is that both the noun and the predicate of la must be indefinite. Okay, so here's a rule here as well, another rule that's very important. Ibn Malik, the famous grammarian, in his Alfiya said, it is very common in this chapter, meaning the chapter of La Nafiya lil Jins, to drop the predicate, to omit the predicate, okay? If what is meant by it is understood despite being dropped. So this is rule. It is very common for this to happen, for the predicate to be dropped when using La Nafiya lil Jins, if what is meant by it is understood. Okay, so going back to the example of La rajula fil bayt, there is no man. It's the same thing as Zayd fil bayt. Zayd is present in the bayt, in the house. So we said that present was the actual predicate, not in. Okay, so here again, present is the predicate as well, and it is being omitted. The same for the same reason, it's understood. So la rajula, it should be in Arabic, la rajula mawjudun, present in the house. But we dropped the word present, mawjud, because it's understood. When you say no man in the house, it's understood there's no man present in the house. So present is the missing predicate. And this is what we mean by the missing syntactical part. So Kalimah linguistically continued, La ilaha illallah. The next word is ilah. So this word means that which is worshipped. Okay, it's derived from the Arabic alaha ya'lahu, the verb, alahatan uluhatan, these the verbal noun. So this is where the word comes from, and it means when one worships with love, fear, and hope. And Allah says in the Quran, Allah ta'budu illallah in Surah Fussilat, meaning they do not worship except Allah. Another meaning, he's saying, he's giving the meaning of the Kalimah. And he uses the word ibadah, worship. Do not worship except Allah, meaning that ilah means that which is worshipped. And also we have the Arabic verses of poetry, and again here the ta'alluhi is from the word alaha ya'law, which shows again that this word means worship, because the poem is using in the context of worship. So ilah means that which is worshipped. Again, this is important. This is how it's understood in the Quran. This is how it's understood in the Arabic language, because again, to refute the wrong interpretations of the Kalimah that the people of innovation did. So remember this point. So i.e. there is nothing worshipped. So this is what we've done so far. La ilah, remember the la of negation, la which negates something by genus or class. Ilaha, that which is worshipped, i.e. there is nothing worshipped. Now, this part that we've covered so far till here, La ilaha, there is nothing worshipped, we covered previously in the previous videos that we did of the meaning of the Kalimah of Tawheed, and this is the part of negation or disbelief in Tawheed. And illallah, illa meaning except, Allah, laful jalala. So this is the part of affirmation or belief in Allah. Now, before we go ahead, there's something important here that we need to discuss, and that is, what is the predicate of la here? Like we discussed before, that the predicate of la is often omitted if the meaning is understood. So here, in the case of the Kalimah, what is the predicate? We saw that la rajula fil bayt, the predicate was present, that there's no man present in the house. That's what's understood automatically. So that's why it was omitted. You don't need to say there's no man present. It's enough to say there's no man in the house. So the missing syntactical part, that's what we are talking about here. So what is the missing part here? What is the missing predicate of la in this case? So in this case, what do Ahl Sunnah say, and what do the people of Bid'ah say? So going back, La ilaha illallah. So what is the predicate of la? So firstly, what do the people of Bid'ah say? So A, some of them say that it means there is no original creator, i.e. in existence, except Allah. So they give the meaning of ilah as creator, okay, or Rabb. Okay, so the word Rabb means the creator, the one who nourishes, the one who provides, the one who creates. Okay, but Rabb does not mean one who is worshipped. Okay, Rabb does not include the meaning of worshipped. Okay, so this group, they said that ilah here means creator, and they give the meaning, the missing meaning of la as existence or presence. So there's no original real creator who is present except Allah. And the next group, they said that there is the meaning of la ilaha illallah is that there is no one independent and self-sufficient, and who everything other than them is in need of them except Allah. So they give this meaning, and this is also the meaning of Rabb, is including the meaning of Rabb, who everyone is in need of, the one who provides. Okay, so as we said before, ilah does not mean Rabb. It's a different meaning. The third wrong meaning of the people of Bid'ah is that they say that it means that there is no God in existence except Allah. So they give the meaning that there's no God. Okay, so there's no one worshipped in existence except Allah. And then the fourth and final wrong meaning that they say, they actually deny that there's any missing predicate at all, and they just say simply there's no one worshipped except Allah. So let's look at all these one by one. So first of all, there's no original creator in existence except Allah. This is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because it's against the meaning of the Quran and the language of the Arabs. Okay, ilah is not the same as Arab. As we explained before, ilah is that which is worshipped, ma'bud, ibadah. Allah says in the Quran, Allah ta'budu, from the word ibadah. Okay, he does not use the word Rabb in this context. And as we saw in the Arabic poetry, the ancient poetry, they do not use this word as Rabb, they use it as something that is worshipped. So this is why this meaning is wrong. And the second meaning is also wrong, and it's for the same reason that ilah does not have the meaning of Rabb. The third meaning, there's no God in existence except Allah. Now, this is wrong because it conflicts reality. If you look around, people are worshipping all kinds of things. So that's not true. There are false gods around that are being worshipped. So if you say there's no God in existence, there's nothing being worshipped in existence except Allah, that's not true. Otherwise, why are there mushrikeen in the first place? And lastly, there is no one worship except Allah. This group just denies that there's a missing predicate. Okay, so here that would mean if they're saying that there's no missing predicate, this would mean that the word Allah is the predicate. Now, this is impossible for the word Allah to be a predicate, as we saw earlier in the rules of la nafi al-jins in Arabic language, that when la nafi al-jins is used, both the subject and predicate must be indefinite. And the lafzul jalala al is not indefinite, it's definite. So this is why this is also impossible. So all of these meanings are incorrect, both by the meaning of the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Arabic language, okay, the rules of Arabic grammar. So then what is the predicate of la? So what do Ahl Sunnah say? So the correct meaning for la ilaha illallah, the correct meaning of the missing predicate, the predicate that is missing, the missing syntactical part here, is there is nothing worship which is worthy of worship except Allah. So this is how Ahl Sunnah understood it. And so what that in Arabic means is that la ilaha haqqun illallah. Okay, so, and this is by the meaning of the Quran itself. So in Surah Al-Hajj, Allah says, ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه هو الباطل. That is because Allah, He is the truth, and what they invoke besides Him, invoking is ibadah, so what they worship besides Him is falsehood. So Allah is the truth, Allah is the haqq, the one who should we worship with haqq. And similarly, Allah said in Surah Luqman as well, which shows you that the meaning of La ilaha illallah is that there is no one worthy of worship who deserves to be worshipped except Allah. There's nothing worshipped in the world who is deserving of that act of worship except Allah. And this is why Ahl Sunnah understood this. These are the proofs. And this is the meaning of the Kalimah of Tawheed according to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So next, let's continue to the next part of the Kalimah. We have the word illa. This means except. It is a particle of exception for lafzul jalala. Lafzul jalala is the word we use referring to the word Allah. And then next we have the word Allah, which is lafzul jalala. So grammatically, lafzul jalala is badal. Now badal means that it comes in the place of what? In the place of la with its noun. Okay, so what we're talking about here is and the kalima la ilaha illallah. This first part, the la ilaha, the la with its noun here, ilaha is the noun of la. So in place of this, you can replace this with the word Allah. Okay? And then you'd have the missing predicate. So in this case, you would not miss it because you're not using the rule of la nafi al-jins. So the predicate would show you that Allahu haqqun, meaning Allah is the true Lord worthy of worship. Barakallahu feekum. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.